Patrick Bet-David on his podcast a day or two ago. Watch this.
I don't know why Catholics, have this issue with Jews. I don't know what it is. They have this. I don't listen. I get the Jews have issues with Christians, and they'll make fun, and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, your Jesus is gonna do." They'll say, "Well, he was a Jew anyways, right?" Yeah. But then Catholics have that issue with Jews. And they act like, they're all innocent and everything. And when you look at Catholics, the amount of centralized power they have. Centralized. If you know what the total Catholic population is worldwide? It's like 1.213 billion. Jews are 15 million.
15 million.
But Jews are decentralized, meaning Jews don't have somebody they listen to that says, hey, you better do this. Catholics, God forbid you say something about the Pope. They're like, hey, man, listen, who is that Pope figure in the Christian community? We don't have one. No. If I ask you right now who's the Pope in the Christian community, you don't have somebody to look at. Who is a witch pastor?
Yeah, exactly.
No, they don't.
We don't have one.
It's an independent network.
It's just the Bible.
So if you look at only Catholics and Muslims have somebody that they look at as their supreme.
No, only Shias have that. And even Shias have disagreements on who it is. Sunni Muslims don't have a caliphate anymore, big dog.
Leader, like, you got to go to somebody. But even more, it's Catholic.
Well, there's only two theocracies in the world.
Catholicism?
Islam. I'm sorry, the Islam.
I bet he's not going to say Israel, right?
Islamic Republic of Iran.
Yep.
And the Vatican.
Yeah.
Those are the two major theocracies.
So actually, the Vatican is very much like the Nazi Iranian government, the theocratic government, the mullahs. It's all basically the same. They've got the complicated dress. They hate the Jews, as Patrick Bet-David just said. Catholics have a problem with the Jews. A problem with the Jews. It's slander. It's an attack on the world's largest and oldest Christian denomination, and it's taking place openly. And it's all coming from the same source, which is Israel. The issue is Israel. Anyone who supports the Netanyahu government, not Israel as a concept, not all Jews, no, the Netanyahu government, anyone who ratifies every decision, no matter how violent or grotesque or genocidal of the Netanyahu government, those are the good people. And anyone who doesn't is a Nazi. And by the way, their religion itself is a Nazi religion. It's an inherently anti-Semitic religion.
So Tucker, it's interesting. I watched this video a few times, and respectfully, I want to respond to you because you're a formidable voice. Whether I agree with you or not, you're somebody that's very good at getting your message out there. And I think at this point, if there's anybody that believes in your ability, it's a guy like this who, after I sold my company, offered you a $100 million contract. I even went on your friend Megyn Kelly's show when I announced it, and she was asking specific questions. I said, yep, we went to your house, we made the offer, then we spent some time together. I came to Maine, and we did your show, and we've had a couple good conversations together. So I believe in you. I think you're funny, quirky, very good communication, and you have your way of doing things. It's almost like you do twist words a lot, and I noticed you did.
Bro, why is there a smoke detector in this dark room that Patrick Bet-David is talking in? Oh, a smoke machine, not a detector. What the hell is going on here? These guys have upgraded thetheir beefs, I guess.
That with me, he hates Catholics. He hates this. Catholics hate the Jews and all this stuff that you did. It's a little bit of your shtick, which I get. But let me kind of get into a few things I want to address with you in this video. And maybe you're not aware of it. A few things you need to know about me. My number one priority is to make sure America stays as the greatest country in the world. Period. Full stop. I'm America first. I'm a Christian, non-denominational Christian that you need to know about me. And by the way, I'm Armenian, which, by the way, the first nation that accepted Christianity as their religion was Armenians. And the only ones that debate Armenians on them being first is Assyrians, and my dad is Assyrian. Maybe that's the reason why my parents divorced each other twice, married each other, and divorced each other. So Armenian, Assyrian, Christian, America first. I want this thing to be the greatest country in the world. I want capitalism to be common sense for everybody, to realize that if a new person wants to come up and have their dreams become a reality, I want that to be out there. But I wonder if that's where you are today. You were always there for many years until what's happened with you the last couple of years. So let me kind of address a few things. So you said something a couple weeks ago. You said Sharia law has made Islamic societies more advanced than the West. Huh. It's interesting. Sharia law has made Islamic societies more advanced than the West. It's a pretty bold statement. I mean, it's like you're selling Sharia law more than you're selling America. You had a guest on a couple weeks ago. Your guest said, you know, that capitalism should not be anywhere near Christianity. Christianity is socialism at its core. You almost agreed with them. And you're like, yes. And you almost agreed with them. So socialism, Christianity at its core, you almost sound like you're supporting maybe a Mamdani in New York or maybe an Ilhan Omar. Maybe those two will be in your podcast.
Yeah, famous supporters of Sharia law.
Yes, in the next few months, I don't know. I'm trying to see what you're solving for. See, this is kind of where I'm at with my life that most people don't know about, but let me kind of share it with you. For 7.5 years, I worked with Mormons. Guess what? I read everything I could on Mormons, and I realized it's not a denomination for me. I'm not interested. I watch all the videos you're not supposed to watch. Ask me how many bad experiences I had with Mormons. Zero. They're phenomenal people. I work with Seventh-day Adventists, and I learned that on Saturdays, you know, there's Saturday, Sunday, all these different things. Very interesting. Guy named Juan Rivas, big community. Not for me, but guess what? I got along with them. Jews. I notice Jews, when I do business with them, it's very interesting if you negotiate with them. They're going to be very, very making sure they get all the benefits on their side. But ask me how many times I've had issues with Jews. Never. Okay, if you ask me about Catholics, I built an insurance company with 60,000 insurance agents, 54% Hispanic. And what do you think most Hispanics are? Catholics. Never had one issue with a single Catholic in my life. And last but not least, Islam, Muslim. I lived with them for 11 years. When you say Sharia law has made Islamic societies more advanced than the West, I lived with the IRGC and the Hezbollahs in Iran, where my mother and my sister were frightened to walk outside. That's this guy. I lived with them, okay? Not hypotheticals. And, you know, we are now both very wealthy. You come from a very wealthy family. I think you also may have married into a wealthy family. And you made a lot of money. You made a lot of money in your life, and your business is doing very well today. When you go to dinner, you're having dinner with people that are going to make sure you see the best side of everything you go to. When I went to Mumbai, they showed me the best part of Mumbai. I went to the slums because I wanted to see what it looked like. Whatever part of the world I go to, I get treated royally today. Why? Because they want to show me the best. But I lived in the worst when our family had...
He's the GOAT, dude. Everyone's always trying to show me the best stuff. I'm the fucking man, dude. I mean, if that's the case, don't you think that like maybe Mormons did that too? And all the people that you work with did that too, not just people in Mumbai?
Nothing. Literally nothing is what we had when we lived in Iran. Regular places, we lived in the city of Tehran. But you know, as crazy as that is, do you know my chef that lives with us? When we go on the road, he's with us all the time. Do you know he's Muslim and he's Turkish and he's still a Muslim? And do you know what Turks did to Armenians and Assyrians? You ever heard of the Armenian genocide or the Assyrian genocide?
Damn.
You ever heard of that? 1.5.
He's like, I have a slave now. I have a Turkish slave in revenge for my ancestors. I bring him everywhere with me. I show him the world. I say, this could all be yours, but you can't have it. He went and got himself a janissary.
500,000, 300,000, 200,000. I love this guy. He's a great guy to us. He's very good to us because I isolate the relationship with that individual. And I still tell him how concerned I am with what Islam could do to America. I am still concerned of that, of what's happened in many different societies. Look,
he's monitoring the situation with Islam. He's keeping a close watch on this Islam situation, you know? Because he's worried. He's concerned that it's going to take over America.
Get, what they're doing in Minnesota, many markets that we read about. Look at what's going on in New York right now. Look at what's going on in a couple places in Plano.
Wait, what? What's going on in New York? When these guys talk about New York, they make it seem like New York is now under the Islamic Caliphate or something. Like, what the fuck?
On how they're growing. And so Charlie Kirk, whom you and I think both admire, Charlie Kirk once said, I think it was 2 days before he was killed. I think it was 1 day before he was killed. He said, Islam is the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America. Let me read it to you one more time. Islam is the sword.
Bro, they are unironically reading hadiths. He said, Charlie Kirk, peace be upon him, the great prophet, had a take on Islam. The prophet Charlie Kirk said, Islam is the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America. Liberals also agree with these guys. Oh, yeah, Noah Smith. I've sat here for years and watched Republicans embrace their worst extremists. I don't want to see the Democrats do the same. Obviously, Noah Smith is a disgusting monster. Another major Islamophobe. I'm not happy about the growth of Islamo-leftism in America. We're following the UK down this path, and it's not good.
Left is using to slit the throat of America. Do you agree with Charlie? Because I do. I do. Because it's all like, hey, let's make it not a big deal. Let's be tolerant. Let's be tolerant Christians. Sharia law has made Islamic societies more advanced than the West. Let's just be tolerant. It's okay. Let's be tolerant. Let's accept all this stuff. Let's allow all this immigration that's going on in UK. It's not a big deal. They're not that bad. It's fine. They don't live the way you do. They just don't. They don't live by the values you and I live in America.
I love that he's not out-woking Tucker, but instead out-racisting Tucker. Like, this is right-wing infighting.
They don't. Now, if you I have a lot of friends that, like Andrew Tate chose to become a Muslim. If you've already converted, but you've not made the announcement publicly, listen, to each his own. You're making that decision as an adult. I support it. More power to you. But my priority is America first. My priority is to make sure we advance America in a way that young men are able to make enough money to get married and have 3+ kids, preferably 4, and be able to have their kids' dream become a reality where if they want to go build a business and make billions, do it. If you want to make millions, do it. If you want to go in a
Am I value tained? Always. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Wait, what do you mean? You want the kids? You want... Guess who's having a shit ton of kids, man? Muslims. You know? Listen, I don't want kids to be... I don't want people to come to America and Muslimically have 3+ kids. I want them to have kids Christian style.
Military, do it. If you want to go out there and, have a regular...
The best thing about Patrick Bet-David is that he's a brown man, Muslim. Wait, is he Muslim? No, he's not Muslim. Has an insanely Jewish last name and is Iranian, Armenian, Christian Shah enjoyer. Oh, you're saying he's a brown man as in he's Muslim coded for that reason. Yeah. Yeah, it is. He is everything all at once. He's just the perfect guy to come out of South Beach, okay? He's insanely popular in the Muslim community. Oh, God. Yeah, I like that a guy that looks like this is talking to Tucker Carlson. And saying Tucker Carlson is a secret Muslim.
Job, making $58,000 a year at whatever company, but you're happy about your job because you're a school teacher, go do it. That's what I want. And as a Christian man, non-denominational, Christ is king, I say that comfortably. My life changed the day I accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior, January 21st of 2004. I will say that to a Jew, to a Muslim, to a Catholic, to anybody, that's my faith. And every day I fall short. When we first moved to Florida for the first 30 days, every single night, I would walk and I would listen to this version of Amazing Grace because that's the only thing I relate to. Those words, you know the words. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. That, I want to read this.
He's the man, dude. That is what I listen to. Come on, how are you not value-tained? He's so funny. He's so unintentionally funny. Oh my God, this banged. 600,000 views in 19 hours. I like that he has to read it, by the way. He's like, oh, I internalized the message, except I want to read it now. This impacted my hugely. I do not know the words by heart. $51,000 likes.
This thing to you that saved a wretch like me, like this guy, regular guy, a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Jesus Christ changed my life. And I'm a Christian man saying this, a business owner. Most people don't know what I do.
Most people don't know what I do. I'm a business owner. I didn't know that either.
Throughout the day, I run companies for a living. I'm not a media guy. We've grown this business from 9 employees to 165 employees. I'm in meetings from morning till night, and I love what I do because I live in the greatest country in the world. So, message back to you. I don't want to be enemies with you. Although if you want to be enemies, I'm okay with that as well. It doesn't bother me, but I don't want to be enemies with you because I actually want to believe deep down inside you love America. You love America. I want to believe deep down inside you're there. And whether you know this or not, you have a lot of influence right now. I do think one of the topics that's going to be an issue on the ballot.
Yeah, he's like a MLM schemer, by the way, which is probably unsurprising to zero people. MLM schemer, born-again Christian, loves capitalism. That's his only real religion. I mean, think about how he talks about Christianity versus how he talks about the real Christianity, which is capitalism.
Ballot for 2028 will be.
Patrick Bet-David founded PHP Agency in 2009, a financial services company specializing in life insurance that operates using multi-level marketing model. Critics, including a 2019 The Daily Beast investigation and YouTuber CoffeeZilla, have likened it to a pyramid scheme, alleging heavy reliance on recruitment fees, $150 training fee, monthly fees, rather than just product sales. Yeah. Do you think he has to do reshoots if there's not enough smoke behind him? No, he's one take Jake, dude. Come on.
Israel, control, AIPAC, all of that stuff. And I'd like to see how that, pans out and how it goes because I like debates. I watch these debates. I watch what takes place. I watch to see where the market is going to. So I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you're trying to get behind a Massey because I think he's a pretty capable, talented guy. I don't know if you want to run. I don't know what you're solving for. I don't know if you're like, well, I don't care if we win the midterms. I don't care. Let a Democrat win. Maybe sometimes America needs to go through the pruning process because I want to see destroy the GOP and start all over again. I don't know. Maybe that's the vision. If it is, more power to you. That's not my vision. My vision isn't that. And I have a sprinkle of libertarian in me because I want to be left alone and just kind of allow me to do that kind of stuff. So whenever I have the conversation and I listen to it, Dave, I agree with a lot of the stuff libertarian.
Yeah, he's like, I have a sprinkle of libertarianism in me, which is why I think we need to purge every Muslim from the boundaries of the state. Famously, a libertarian policy is too many Muslims in the country.
Libertarians also believe in But I think there's an end to it because we've already started a country the way that we are. And so you and I both get accused of something. I want you to process this, and I want you to know I'm open to it. You get accused of, this guy, Tucker's taking money. Oh, Pat's a Zionist. He's taking money from Israel. Never been to Israel. AIPAC messaged me and told me, you want to come to Israel? I said, I have no interest in going to Israel for you to pay for me. I'm going to go one day with my pastor. We've never taken money from anybody. And I'm so confident with myself on what I've done because there's only one thing I fear in my life, and that's God. I don't fear anything more than I fear God. And trust me, I fear God a lot because this thing's like this.
Yeah, trust me, I fear God a lot.
If you ever wanted to have fun, and let's just say, put it out there on the line, and again, I'll put the onus on you if you're open to this or not. Let's go hire 3 accounting firms. You pick one, I pick one, and let's get a third party that we both agree on, maybe like a KPMG, PwC, and BKD, hypothetically. Some of the biggest firms you probably recognize. You have money. You've done well for yourself. Let's have them do audited financials on me, my wife, and you and your wife, and report back to see if I've ever gotten paid from Israel and report back to see if you've ever gotten paid from Qatar or Pakistan or any of these guys. All the businesses, all the LLCs, all the accounts, you know how this kind of works. They can kind of figure that out. And let's be honest with the audience. Let's be honest with the audience. If you're open to it, I'm available. We'll have to spend $500,000, something like that, because it's going to take a few weeks for them to do it. I am fully open to that idea if you are. And by the way, I know this may make you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to accept this offer. But I'm telling you, I'm comfortable if you want to do it. You don't have to do it because it's a little bit private. So I'm sure you're going to come out and say, how dare he want to look at my wife's bank accounts and all this other stuff? Because some people may say, well, they can.
Patrick Bet-David is crazy. He pre-banned you years ago. Yeah, Patrick Bet-David refused to have me on the show. Not exactly sure why, but are we team Patrick Bet-David or Tucker? Which of these heroes are we fighting for? I say let him fight. I'm just in it to see 2 legends of the game duking it out, doing what they do best, okay? I love both of these guys. As you know, I have great love for both of them. They're at the peak. They're at the peak of their game. Okay. I obviously, I'm a fan of Charlie Kirk. Peace be upon him. We are Charlie Kirk. So, I think to myself, like, what would Charlie Kirk do in this circumstance, in this situation? What would Charlie Kirk do? He would carry the fucking flame, and that's what I'm here to do. To carry the goddamn flame.
Pay your wife and not through you, and I get that as well, and that's why I want to be a little bit transparent with you. I've tried many times to build a relationship with you. It's been challenging, but I do want you to know that as a Christian man myself, no matter how much you go to a place to not want to believe in somebody, I've been instructed by God to try to do my best to have some grace. And I believe in you. I believe in your abilities, but I believe in God and America more than I believe in any man in America, because I've seen many great empires fall. And for as long as I'm alive and I'm kicking, and if God wants to use me as a voice to elevate how amazing of a country we live in, how lucky we are to be here,
both of these individuals, Tucker Carlson and Patrick Bet-David, have refused to have me on their shows. So I'm an outsider. What prompted this video? Apparently Tucker Carlson said something about Patrick Bet-David. Like, and that's what took place. That's how this happened.
I'm going to use my voice to elevate that message. I've been doing that since the time I went to dinner with a few different people in LA, and I was inspired, and I was finally taught about how amazing this great country is, that we escaped Iran after 11 years and went to Germany at a refugee camp. And I finally came here. I served the U.S. Army 101st Airborne Division, one of the most proudest days of my life when I went into the U.S. Army. So that offer is back to you. Now, you have my cell phone number. If you want to call me, have a conversation, I'd love to. I'd love to. Your talent. I respect your ability on what you've done. But if you send your, your followers, and you got a lot of people that will do whatever you do, because you're the head guy at the top, and you know all the other people that follow whatever you say. So I trust all of them are going to probably attack me. I hope they don't, because I'd like to see that if the day Charlie passed, it was a heavy burden on me.
Dude, peace be upon him. Charlie Kirk, the prophet Charlie Kirk.
Because I have young boys that love Charlie. I've never seen my son get emotional for 30 minutes the day Charlie died, and I was at an event that I couldn't even get to my son that night. I think there's a lot of movements that need our help.
He's like, the day Charlie Kirk died, it was really hard for me personally, okay? Because I couldn't be there to emotionally support my son, my adult son, who was emotional for 30 minutes. Okay, do you know how long 30 minutes is when you're emotional? It's very long. After 30 minutes was over, though, he ain't no pussy. He was back. He was back to Sigma Grindset. Okay. As soon as the 30 minutes were over, he looked at me and he said, "Dad, it's time to start a new business." What prompted this is because...
Just told us, can't be a Christian.
Tucker on the new religion of Trump's America and his mockery of Jesus Christ. 1.5 million views. Oh my God. This is America B shit, I think. Or maybe it's America A shit. I just don't even know about it. That's crazy though. 2 days, 1.5 million views. We have been focusing on monitoring the motherfucking situation like a bunch of dumb idiots, trying to make sense of what Trump is saying, trying to understand if the Strait of Hormuz is going to be open or not. Meanwhile, these guys are just fucking... These guys are talking about shit that Americans actually care about.
It's amazing. But it's not just Lindsey Graham. This is everywhere today, in case you haven't seen it. Here's Patrick Bet-David on his podcast a day or two ago. Watch this.
I don't know why Catholics, have this issue with Jews. I don't know what it is. They have this. I don't listen. I get the Jews have issues with Christians, and they'll make fun, and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, your Jesus is gonna do." They'll say, "Well, he was a Jew anyways, right?"
Yeah.
Why you have no emotion on YouTube? Why do you think, man? Because I'm not some fucking reactionary weirdo. It's so dope. We have another schism in 2026 somehow. Yeah. You mean the Patrick Bet-David Tucker Carlson schism, right? Not the anti-Catholic Church American Catholics, because that's the real schism.
But then Catholics have that issue with Jews, and they act like they're all innocent and everything. And when you look at Catholics, the amount of centralized power they have, centralized. If you know what the total Catholic population is worldwide, it's like 1.213 billion. Jews are 15. Catholic, gosh, and
we already saw
look
this.
at even
So address
We already saw all this.
largest and oldest Christian denomination, and is taking place openly. And it's all coming from the same source, which is Israel. The issue is Israel. Anyone who supports the Netanyahu government, not Israel as a concept, not all Jews, no, the Netanyahu government, anyone who ratifies every decision, no matter how violent or grotesque or genocidal of the Netanyahu government, those are the good people. And anyone who doesn't is a Nazi. And by the way, their religion itself is a Nazi religion. It's an inherently anti-Semitic religion. That's what they're telling you out in the open. And the kind of casual dismissal, the mockery, the loathing of the oldest and largest Christian church, it's just remarkable. Now, again, Trump is someone who, has a lot of problems showing respect to other powerful figures. And it's not just Trump. Most men like Trump are that way. They get along well with women because they're not threatened by women. Woman's probably not trying to kill you and become king. They're kind of loyal. But other men, every other man to a certain male personality type is a potential threat. That's why kings kill their sons. Every man is a potential threat. And so Trump is not on a gut level instinctively respectful of anything or anybody. And that's one of the reasons he was a much needed transformative political figure for so long in the United States, because he was willing to ask questions that most people in Washington had never even thought of out of deference to the existing system. Like, why do we have NATO? Is it really a good idea to offshore manufacturing? Is our immigration actually, our system helping the United States or hurting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? All famously the questions that Trump asked, but the way we were doing things were made possible. He was able to ask those things because he doesn't have reflective respect for anybody. Got it. And so when Trump mocks Jesus and the Pope and Christians and tweets out the F word on Easter morning, you're kind of like, well, this is awful, but it's also kind of consistent with the Trump we know. This is just Trump turned up to 11. But what's interesting is there are certain circumstances where Trump shows sincere reverence. There are the outlines of an actual religious faith here. And they're not what you would expect. So here, for example, is Donald Trump, the month before the last election, this is October 2024, visiting the grave of a man called Rabbi Schneerson, Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, who he's since passed away, the leader of a large Orthodox sect. He's Eastern European by birth, came with many of his followers to New York, to Brooklyn, and built a very successful, though relatively speaking, very small center of religious thought and political power, actually. He died some years ago. There's the now president standing there. It looks like maybe Ben Shapiro there, Howard Lutnick, wearing a kippah on his head. As you look at that, ask, is it possible?
Lamau, is this Trump is secretly Chabad? Yes. Trump is a Chabadnik. So is Zoran. And of course, how can I forget Vladimir Putin? I like that all of the leaders, all the centers of power are secretly Chabadnik. No, he's saying the argument he's trying to present. Well, he's not so subtly saying that Trump is secretly Jewish, but the argument on his face is him saying Trump has more reverence and respect for Jews than he does for his supposed own religion, Christianity, a religion that almost all of his supporters do believe in. He's trying to basically sever by force Trump's ties with his own base of support.
Able to imagine Donald Trump ever mocking Rabbi Schneerson, who, by the way, and this is kind of the point, is considered by some of his followers to be the Messiah. And to be completely clear, every American is allowed to decide for himself who the Messiah is, so that is not mockery of that belief. I don't personally believe it, but one of the reasons we've been able to live with people of different faiths in this country for 250 years is we don't mock other people's religious faith unless you're absolutely forced to, unless you're trying to make me attend your religious rituals or bow down before a God I don't consider God. Unless it comes to that, we kind of let each other have our own religious views. And that has worked. That's changing very, very fast, however. But ask yourself, can you imagine Donald Trump sending out a meme mocking Rabbi Schneerson? And of course, under no circumstances could you imagine that, because under no circumstances would that ever happen. Trump would not be allowed to do that, and Trump would never even consider doing it. But sending out multiple images mocking Jesus? No problem at all. So that gives you a more precise sense of what our civic religion actually is.
I just don't think that Tucker Carlson has motion amongst the people that he is seemingly trying to communicate to. Like, I don't think that there are, Trump supporters that are watching him and going like, oh my God, Tucker's right. Trump might be a sacred Jew. You know? I don't. He absolutely does. Liberals love his takes. No, liberals like his takes. I think now Tucker Carlson has established an audience. he can still win back all the fucking Republicans like that, because it doesn't take much for Republicans to lend their support to someone. But I do think that he has a larger audience of like Bangladeshi unks than he does like American evangelicals at this point, at least on his YouTube page, and maybe liberals and independents as well.
A civic religion, by the way, is not a conventional religion. Civic religion is a series of customs, some enshrined in law, not all, that a society, civilization, and its government observe. And it doesn't necessarily mean there's a God at the center of it. That's why it's a civic religion rather than a conventional religion. But our civic religion is, if you, again, takes 3 steps back and is to assess the country with the eyes of a visitor, a modern Tocqueville, you can see it really clearly. What are the events? Who are the people who we treat with reverence? What are you actually not allowed to make fun of? What is blasphemy in modern America? Those are the questions you ask if you are trying to understand what our operative religion is. What's the religion of our leaders? Again, it's not a conventional religion necessarily. It's not Torah Judaism or Rabbinic Judaism or evangelical Christianity or Catholic Christianity. It's the actual religion, the real religion, the set of beliefs that we treat with reverence. Well, it just so happens there was a religious ceremony ongoing today in the United States Capitol, complete with very recognizable religious iconography, symbolism. You may not even have known this was happening, but it was happening today as part of an 8-day celebration of remembrance of the Holocaust, the period in the 1930s and 40s where the German government, the Nazi government, murdered, in addition to a lot of other people, a whole bunch of Jews. And that ended in part because the United States sent troops to Europe, millions of troops to Europe, to defeat the German government. And with the help of the Soviets, our allies at the time, we did that. And in the process of doing that, over 250,000 Americans, American men, were killed trying to stop the Nazi government from doing the evil things that it was doing. 250,000, more than, American men died fighting the Nazis. But in today's ceremony in the Congress, there was no mention of them. There was instead this. Watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, a museum leadership.
Yeah, you say a whole bunch of Jews when you don't want to say 6. Okay? I think that's, I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but he has had like the Holocaust revisionists and stuff on his broadcast before. So it's not. I noticed that too. I did perk up a little bit.
Program has included more than 72,000 U.S. military members. Through examination of the Holocaust, they gain insight into their own professional and individual responsibilities. The candlelighters are members of the United States Army 3rd Infantry Regiment, the Old Guard.
I am Sergeant Ethan Ottman. I remember.
I don't get it. What's the, like, why is Tucker Carlson showing all this? I don't even understand what the fucking point is here. Like, what's the point of why he's showing all this stuff?
That is a current uniformed U.S. military member from the Old Guard, the 3rd Infantry Regiment, which is, ever present at our public events in Washington. saying, lighting a candle at the menorah and saying, I remember. No explanation of, I remember. I remember what? What are we remembering here? And we do have a sense that we're not remembering the American soldiers who liberated Dachau, for example. We're not remembering the 250,000 American men who joined a war they had nothing to do with inherently. It wasn't taking place in North America, it was taking place in Europe. And the dispute was over Poland and Czechoslovakia.
What the fuck? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Okay, I get what he's doing now. Okay. Yeah, let's do it.